Joey Aguilar is Tennessee's quarterback no more. Denied preliminary injunction. What this means moving forward for the Volunteers.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, good Saturday morning, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Vols. I'm your host, Eric Kane, a member of the VolQuest.com team here in town covering your Tennessee Volunteers. We are a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, this Locked On Vols show, where it is your team every single day, and, of course, the number one sports podcasting network available. So big shout out to all you guys for making that possible. You everydayers could not do this show without you. Today's episode is presented by the good people over at 5 Hour Energy. Have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavored is back. No fork needed. Vanilla-y, cakey flavor, caffeinated kick, and no sugar. It's time to party. Now you can order at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Joey Aguilar has been denied his preliminary injunction. What this means moving forward. Why was this the case? And where does Tennessee go from here? All that and more we're going to get into here over the course of the next 15, 16 minutes or so. Before we move further, I do want to sit here for a moment and just pay some respects. I had already recorded the Friday shows before the unfortunate accident that took the life of Wes Rucker on Thursday evening, late afternoon, early evening. It's a tragedy. It really is. And if you're watching this show, you're a Tennessee fan, you know exactly who Wes Rucker is. Because if you follow Tennessee sports, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, you know, Wes has been doing it for 2 decades plus. You know, he did it for the Chattanooga Times Free Press, hosted a couple of radio shows earlier in his career. He was at Go Vols 247 forever. Most recently, the last, couple of months, he's been with WBIR. And, he's a really good guy. And you hear this stuff all the time. Like, life is precious. Hug the ones you love a little tighter. Don't take anything for granted. And I can't speak for any of you because I'm sure you guys have gone through, tragedies like this before as well. But sometimes for me, it just kind of rolls off your shoulder. It's kind of like, well, okay, but when it hits home, it changes things. I'm not sitting here to try to act like, me and Wes were best friends because we weren't. But I saw Wes multiple times a week, 3-4 times a week for the last, 7-8 years. And he was a good person. Loved his family, his wife, Lauren, his son, four-year-old son, Hank. Daughter that's set to be born in a couple months. My heart shatters for them. Not just today, but prayers for a long time for that family. It's been pretty cool. There's been a GoFundMe set up in the family's honor, and oh my gosh, it's been incredible to see how much money's been raised, and that's amazing. I know a lot of you guys listening and watching have probably donated and given some to that as well, and so that helps so much, I'm sure. But that family needs prayer, and again, it's nobody shouldn't happen. It's hard to comprehend. It's hard to fathom, and so my prayers are with the Rucker family for now and for a long time for sure. And so I wanted to pay some respects, out here in the front. Again, not acting like it more than it is. Me and Wes were not best friends. We acquaintances, but he was a great guy, really, really good guy who loved his job, was good at his job, great writer, and loved his family fiercely. And so I just wanted to, use this platform to say that here before we get going. It's baseball is romantic. Wes loved baseball, covered Tennessee baseball. Tennessee baseball walked it off on Friday in dramatic fashion, walk-off home run. So I thought that was really, really cool. Joey Aguilar denied preliminary injunction late on a Friday afternoon, and that's unfortunate. It's certainly not a shock. I hope I've never led anyone to believe on the show that I thought it was a slam dunk, a layup, or anything. Certainly after the hearing last Friday, many people that were in attendance for that told me leaving, I think it's a toss-up 50-50. Certainly sitting back and watching the live streams, I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything, but I would say it's probably 50-50. But Joey Aguilar and his legal team gave it their best effort. They dropped out the Pavia lawsuit on a federal level, went to the local level, and tried their hand. And you see now these 3 local level hearings in trying to get preliminary injunction. One has been granted, that being Trinidad Chambliss, and two have been denied, that being Charles Bediako of Alabama and now Joey Aguilar of Tennessee. All three very different things. They were not the same, but you're batting at 33% right now in terms of that regard. It was worth a shot. It was. Joey Aguilar was seeking preliminary injunction over what his team was claiming the NCAA was in violation of the Tennessee Trade Practices Act in terms of not allowing him to go and profit off his name, image, and likeness and the rev share and all that for playing another year. And that's kind of what their basis was on. And again, if you watch the stream of the preliminary injunction hearing last week, Judge Heagarty, Chris Heagarty, just says, "Hey, we can't just hand these out like popcorn. This being preliminary injunctions. I can't rule in conjecture. I've got to have facts. And what is market value? They can never determine what market value was for Joey Aguilar. And though the judge, Chris Heagarty, said at the end of the hearing on Friday that he acknowledged that Joey Aguilar would suffer damages. He would suffer damages. I thought that was kind of, I didn't think that was the reason they were going to win or anything, but I thought that was, kind of a high note to end on there if you were in the camp of Joey Aguilar being granted preliminary injunction. So, again, not completely blindsided by this news whatsoever. I thought, again, it was, 55-45, 60-40 best that he would get it. But I thought it was very much a coin flip from those that know a whole lot more about how these things work in this regard. Heading into the injunction hearing, the NCAA, they made it clear their stance on Aguilar's pursuit of another year of college eligibility. This was listed in the complaint heading into the preliminary injunction. Quote, this from the NCAA. This outcome, after the plaintiff withdrew from a federal lawsuit and separately filed a lawsuit in state court with the exact same facts, illustrates the impossible situation created by differing court decisions that serve to undermine rules agreed on by the same NCAA members who later challenged them in court. This was actually in a statement by the NCAA, excuse me. We will continue to defend the NCAA's eligibility rules against repeat attempts to rob high school students of the opportunity to compete in college and experience life-changing opportunities only college sports can create. The NCAA and its member schools are making changes to deliver more benefits to student athletes, but the patchwork of state laws and inconsistent, conflicting court decisions make partnering with Congress essential to provide stability for all college athletes, end quote. Again, Joey Aguilar withdrew from the Diego Pavia lawsuit that was on a federal level and went the local level to file for preliminary injunction. Again, I've talked about it, several times on the show. Like, do I think this overall thing is good for college football? No, I don't. I've never said. Me and Josh Ward talked about it. Like, I don't think it's good for college sports, college football, college basketball. However, do I blame Joey Aguilar for trying to get this? Heck no. Was I hoping he'd get this? Yeah, I was. I want to see him play again. I'm sorry, led the SEC in passing, sign me up. I want to see him play again. But I understand why he was trying to do this, because he'll never make as much money playing football that he's made right now, and he's standing to make more. I mean, he was going to make more in 2026 compared to what he made in 2025, and so I get it. I completely get it. But when I sit here and I'm like, okay, it's bad for college football and all that, and I just read that statement by the NCAA whenever Joey filed in the local level. The NCAA just granted a ninth-year senior at Minnesota eligibility. Like, you talking about taking chances away from high school athletes and all that. You just granted a guy at Minnesota his ninth year of eligibility. TJ Finley's still playing. How does that work? Like, again, I know those are just two examples, but, I mean, what are we doing here? Like, by the matter of the law, Joey Aguilar has played 3 years of Division I football. And so whether you believe that JUCO years should count or shouldn't count, Joey Aguilar's played 3 years of Division I football. So he's not been in a Division I program for 9 years or stuff like that, like some of these other guys have. So it makes no sense in that regard. There's a lot of things that don't make sense. But it's not shocking that Joey Aguilar was denied preliminary injunction by Judge Chris Heagarty in Knox County Court. Anybody thought Tennessee was going to get a home field advantage here? Clearly mistaken. Not in Chris Heagarty's court. Even if you're upset about this, I feel like you can respect it, because what went down in Mississippi with Trinidad Chambliss, who I believe, as the best case to play another year, but the judge getting emotional? Give me a break. That is a joke, in my opinion. So, Anyway, how does this affect Tennessee? How does this affect Tennessee moving forward? Hey, it's go time. And for the 6th straight year, as Josh Heupel's been the coach here at Tennessee, Tennessee's going to have a new starting quarterback. Not been 6 different quarterbacks, it's been 5 different quarterbacks, but for the 6th straight year, every year Josh Heupel's been here, Tennessee has a new starting quarterback. We'll break it all down when we return right here on your Saturday morning Locked On Vols. Stay tuned.
I'm Clea Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. It was a heavyweight showdown between number 3 South Carolina and number 7 LSU, and the Gamecocks rose to the occasion. South Carolina secured a hard-fought 79-72 victory to stay atop the SEC standings, using a balanced offensive attack to outlast the Tigers. Tessa Johnson led the way with 21 points, while Raven Johnson added 19. Medina Okot dominated the paint with a double-double, finishing with 12 points and 17 rebounds, while Joyce Edwards chipped in 10 points to round out the scoring. With the statement win, the Gamecocks now turn their attention to a road matchup at number 23 Alabama on Thursday. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Welcome to the 5-Hour Energy Flavor Draft. All 18 flavors, different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set. The flavors are ready. I've got the number 1 pick for the 5-Hour Energy Draft. Which way am I going to go? We could go with the Cotton Candy, delicious swirl of sugarly clouds, a fruit twist with just a hint of vanilla, sweet side of that tasty caffeine. We can go with the Confetti Craze. Delicious blend of rich and buttery, freshly baked confetti cake, smooth vanilla frosting, and sprinkle of sweetness in every single sip. Go with one of the OGs, like the berry. Slightly sweet and very fruity flavor, classic mixed berry flavor with notes of raspberry and blackberry. I mean, those are just a couple of the flavors of the 18 that we could choose from here in this 5-Hour Energy Flavor Draft. 5-Hour Energy shots give you a boost with zero sugar, a lot of innovative flavors that you can check out and more. And right now you can go and find your new favorite 5-Hour Energy shot available online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon's where you can order your 5-Hour Energy shots today. Ever want to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into a reality with the NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future bet, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right, flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you're already looking on the board and thinking about which team can make a deep run, this is the perfect time to lock in. I love futures this time of the year, whether it's picking a team to win the championship, grabbing a conference title. Adds an extra layer of excitement into the games down the stretch. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. That is FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Joey Aguilar is out of the picture now. We'll see if they appeal. Again, Joey Aguilar is reported that by Chris Lowe of On3 that he was going to go to the NBA Combine to give himself another, obviously another option, but he was only going to stay for, so many hours to keep his eligibility and all that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he's going to appeal, kind of what that next step is for Joey Aguilar. But right now, again, it's business as usual for Tennessee. You gave it a run. You tried to get Joey back eligible. Now you are, for all intents and purposes, you are rolling with these young guns. It's going to be George MacIntyre, redshirt freshman, or it's going to be a true freshman, 5-star in Faizon Brandon. And so it's go time. Now you've got some finality to it. You've got some closure to the Joey Aguilar situation that's kind of, it's been talked about really since, mid-November, early November, when there was talks about, well, hey, what's Joey going to do? Hey, does Joey have another year of eligibility? Hey, could Joey get in that Diego Pavia lawsuit? What are the options? I mean, this has been a constant conversation, for the better part of the last, 3 or 4 months. And of course, Tennessee attacked the transfer portal. Well, some could argue, I guess, as if you were going to have Joey Aguilar, took some swings at Sam Levitt, brought in Bo Prabula, but then said no thanks to Bo Prabula. and, settled for Ryan Staub, a career backup at Colorado, to come in and, I don't want to say be a body. He's certainly got the most experience of the group, of the trio, but your investment is in those young guys, in George MacIntyre and Faizon Brandon. So it is a go time for Tennessee. And, Joey Aguilar was never going to really be a main participant in spring ball, really until the last couple of weeks or whatever. And even in that regard, I'm sure he wasn't going to be full speed. He had that benign tumor on his bicep, and he had that removed, and so he's recuperating and recovering from that. He wasn't going to be full go. So it was always going to be George MacIntyre, Faizon Brandon. That was going to be the highlight. That was going to be the best part about spring. And now, it still is, but one of those guys is going to be Tennessee's starting quarterback moving forward. And so I'm intrigued. Josh Heupel, he'll be coaching his 6th season at Tennessee. This will be his 6th different starting quarterback to begin the year. 5 of those quarterbacks, it's only 5, but 6 years. Joe Milton was the starting quarterback twice. Joe Milton was his opening day, baseball term, starting quarterback for his first game here at Tennessee against Ball State in 2021. Hendon Hooker, of course, came in, whenever Joe Milton was hurt. Hendon balled out. Hendon stayed another year, was the starting quarterback going into 2022. But then when 2023 rolled around, Joe Milton stayed, and Joe Milton was the starting quarterback again for Josh Heupel. But then it was Nico in 2024. There's Joey Aguilar in 2025, and now, again, it's going to be one of Faizon Brandon or George MacIntyre. Here's where I've got faith in Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel, Joey Halsley, they develop quarterbacks. They do. Think about the worst quarterback that's been here at Tennessee. Nico, under this staff. Nico still didn't turn the football over hardly at all. Nico still went out there and won you and helped win you the Alabama game with some great throws and big time throw in the Oklahoma game. Nico still had his moments. Obviously, he was a number 1 player in the country, former 5-star, so he flashed certainly as a first-year starter. Joe Milton, 2023, still accumulated over 3,000 yards of total offense, just like Hendon Hooker did, just like Joey Aguilar did. So you got this level of play from those guys, and you saw what he did with Joey Aguilar and getting to campus in May and mid-May, and he led the SEC in passing. You saw what Hendon Hooker did. Nobody wanted Hendon Hooker to start when he got here to Tennessee. That was Jeremy Pruitt ad, by the way. But Josh Heupel and staff turned Hendon Hooker into a Heisman candidate. Should have been in New York there. Should have been in New York. Should have absolutely. The fact that Stetson Bennett was a Heisman finalist that year is just embarrassing on so many accounts. So many accounts. But you got faith that Josh Heupel and Joey Halsley can turn a quarterback into a winning product here at the University of Tennessee. I do, because they've done it countless, year in and year out. So I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to Josh Heupel. Again, these guys are here for a reason. George MacIntyre's a year into the system. Faizon Brandon's got every single tool possible that you could want. I am so thrilled and so excited about spring practice to see those guys go at it into fall camp. Upset for Joey Aguilar. He's so easy to root for. I'm intrigued to know if they're going to appeal. I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions here. We'll see what happens. But it's go time now. 2 young guys. May the best man win. We'll see what happens. Joey Aguilar has been denied preliminary injunction by Judge Chris Heagarty in Knox County Court. We'll continue to have this conversation on Monday's Locked On Vols. We'll look back at Tennessee's basketball game against Vanderbilt on the road. We'll look back at the weekend baseball series, all that and more coming up on Monday's Locked On Vols. And appreciate you guys for being here. Everydayers, couldn't do the show without you. LockedOnVols.supercast.com, LockedOnVols.supercast.com to join the Everydayer Club right here with Locked On Vols. Appreciate you guys as always. This has been Locked On Vols.